Good evening, everyone. My name is Melinda Shumway. I serve as Vice Chair of the Historic Districts Commission in Concord and will be acting as Chair in the absence of the Chair. Welcome to the November 2nd, 2023 meeting of the Town Concord Historic Districts Commission. The Commission will review continuance and three new applications this evening. We will also conduct additional business at the end of the meeting. We are conducting this meeting online in accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. The public may access this call through both telephone and video conferencing. Members of the public will have an opportunity to ask questions and provide public comments on applications and discussions following the petitioner's presentation and questions from the Commission. To do so, please, quote, raise your hand in the participant function of the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use the platform, you may raise your hand by dialing *9. Our host will mute microphones of those not speaking, and in order to preserve bandwidth and may need to turn off the video, with the exception of the commissioners, the host, and the current applicant. I will call on each commissioner for comments on an application and then open the meeting for public comment. Once there are no more public comments, I will ask for a motion from the commission to continue, to approve with conditions, or to reject. A second and then conduct a roll call vote. Once the commission has acted on an application, the applicant is free to leave the meeting. We will do a roll call of the members of the commission. Catherine Mast.
Present.
Paul Ware.
Present.
Myself, present. Kate Chartner.
Present.
Timothy Whitney.
Present.
Dennis Fiore.
Here.
And Louis and Walter Clay and Bill Hewitt are absent.
Walter Clay is here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm present.
I'm reading this. I'm looking at you, but apparently at one point you said you were absent because that's what...
No, words in my mouth. I'm here.
Okay, sorry about that.
Mercurial state of affairs.
So let's get started. Adam and Ashley Mickelson on 462 Lexington Road, American Mile, to install a cobblestone driveway apron. Is that who's on the phone number is here on the?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, can you hear me?
I can. Are you Adam?
Yes, I apologize. I'm our Concord youth soccer team is playing in Natick tonight, so I am on phone, but I'm Adam.
Well, I hope they're winning, but go ahead.
Yes, I think, does everyone know the background kind of this? We did an extensive garage and worked collaboratively with the HCC. Later on, about a little over a year ago, we did put in the front apron, cobblestone apron.
Yes.
And I did not realize that was not part of the original approval. We are also in the process of designing a more comprehensive front of the house plan, but that is not yet ready. So at the request of the commission, we did submit this just for the cobblestone apron. And we will be back with a more comprehensive plan once it's ready. We're still, working on a lot of details and trying to balance cost and all the aspects of that.
Okay. And were we just looking at what was submitted, or was that just something that was similar to what they want to put in?
I'm sorry?
Well, we were just, since you can't see us, we just had a split screen and one looked like a really nice family. I don't know if that was yours or somebody else's. On the other side, there was a picture of a partial cobblestone driveway apron. Not partial, just apron, I guess. And I don't know if that was what you have submitted or not.
Yes, that is it. I can't see it, so I apologize, but I believe that is it.
Okey doke.
It matches the one at the very front of the garage.
Okay, so that's already installed, is that correct? Or no?
That is correct. Yes, that is correct.
And so you're just coming to us right now. I thought you said you were gonna do something once you decided on, are you gonna do it all the way?
No,
or-
so yeah, we do have a longer term goal to
Oh.
kind of restore the front of the house into a more comprehensive and historically appropriate frontage. We are not there yet, truthfully. Between my wife is also pregnant with twins, so between
Oh, exciting.
three kids, 4 dogs, and twins on the way, it's just too much on our plate, honestly. And so we've not yet been able to kind of navigate. You know, we've contemplated the idea of a stone wall in front of the house that would better approximate kind of historical homes, and other kind of more comprehensive front of the house plans. I think the goal would be to try to keep the apron, if at all possible. But again, I will make sure give ample time and have a far more comprehensive plan once it's ready. I would guess it's not until after the babies will be born, which would be in either late January or early February.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very exciting.
So correct me if I'm wrong, you're really coming before us to get approval for what you've already done, and what you're going to do going forward, we're going to hear about later. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And there would be, I apologize for any confusion that I had on this front of the house apron. Yes, there will be a full and comprehensive plan at some point down the line that we'll review with you before any additional work will be done.
Okay, so I'm going to call on each commissioner to see if they approve of what you've already done. And so we'll start with Tim, who I see first on my screen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really, so it looks like quite large. Are you getting an echo with me?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I'll try it again. Is that better?
Yes.
So they look like large granite stones rather than really cobbles. But that's just a point. I don't really know what the historic reference would be with these cobbles, or even whether the cobbles are granite. So if it was presented without having been done, I would really question what these are for. I think, but it's been done. It's not I live right near the house. It's not, I walk by, it's not very noticeable. But it's, and I don't think it has any, what's been done in the garage and what's been done here, I think, are two different things. The garage is way back. So this is near the street. So, everything that's been done in the house is great. I admire the work that's been done. I just, it's coming in retroactively, but I would question why these cobbles, and what their point is, and what the historic reference is. So those are my comments.
Yeah, I apologize if I use the term cobble. I'm naive. They are, I think, just granite that we used to in the garage, originally approved garage plan, and they just matched it. That was the only thought process there at all. And again, I apologize for my nomenclature.
No problem. Thank you.
Paul?
I have the same, I guess, observations that Tim articulated, which is that, that I don't see the historical context. I don't generally like them. They're very suburban development looking to me. These aprons of cobbles or ballast stones or whatever label we put on them. I don't think they add anything. I don't see their functional value. And I'm not impressed by the fact that this is a retrospective on what was done. So I wouldn't personally approve it absent some additional articulation of need, as Tim says, historical reference. I don't think they look good. I don't think they fit the neighborhood. I don't think they're historic in any respect. But maybe I'm being too subtle here.
No, I don't think so.
Catherine?
Paul's funny, by the way. I think he has a point. You know, I think we are always up against this dividing line of, you know, what is appropriate and has historical reference and what is attractive and pretty and may be integrating other elements that have already been, you know, imposed or part of the house and the design. I don't have a distinctly strong negative opinion about it. I personally am okay with this, but I will defer to my fellow commissioners in terms of opinions on this particular thing. So,
Walter?
I have a question. How are they set? Are they in stone dust or concreted in?
I believe there's stone dust around them. Again,
So
we just try to copy the part that was already done from the approved garage plan, and I apologize again that it was.
Right, I
an
understand
afterthought.
that. I think we're all properly apologized to with a smile, or at least sufficiently apologized to. Whether it's properly or not, it's a different thing. The reason I'm asking about stone dust is I agree very much with Paul on this, and if it were being presented as a project to be reviewed and commented on, I would be in favor of saying no to it for all the same reasons that Paul is saying. My question about stone dust is that if it's set in steel spikes down and it's impossible to take it out without a half stick of dynamite, that would be one thing. Given that it probably is movable, I would, I guess, be at this point, since winter is coming on, be in favor of an interim, if such thing exists, approval, subject to it being redone when you're doing the rest of the house. I don't think that it's really the best fix for the driveway right now. But again, I don't know if that's something that that can be done. But I would say I would stand on principle and say that it shouldn't have been applied for retroactively, and there is precedent there. And as often as we can establish that that thing should be approved in the proper sequence and not retroactively granted, we should try what we can to do that. So I think that it's visually inappropriate to a degree that I would much prefer to have something in its place. But I don't want to be, demonic about insisting that it be torn out at this point, the beginning of November. So there's my ramble.
Dennis?
I have nothing to add between the rambles and the subtlety. I have nothing that I can add. You've said it all.
Kate?
I agree with Dennis, even shorter. No, I'm not sure I would have approved this in the first place. Actually, I don't think I would have, because I don't want to see the district peppered with these all over. I'm not sure there's a compelling enough argument for it to have gone in the first place. So that's where I stand.
Okay. Are there any more comments from either our applicant or anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I again, I recognize that the retroactive nature is not great in this circumstance. And once we recognized that this was something that was even needed to be reviewed, we did submit it very quickly. I think, I don't remember if it was Anne or or Heather, who mentioned that we should submit that. I think I spent like a day and a half trying to gather all the information together to try to explain the situation. We did offer the idea of waiting until the more comprehensive plan is ready. I think if we could find a way to understand that this was an honest mistake, and know that I will do everything in my power to rectify it via the next, again, way more comprehensive process, that you have my word on that. I recognize the difficulty in this circumstance, and again, we didn't pick the material to look like any suburban neighborhood. I think we've done everything in our power to try to restore the home into a historically accurate and better version of what it was, and are going to continue to endeavor to do so in the coming years. And I think our next plan, when we have it ready after the birth of the babies, I promise we'll speak to all those aspects, and we will happily look forward and await the committee's input regarding that, and know that this mistake would not happen again.
Okay, thank you, Adam. I think it's fair to say that from the comments that have been made this evening, if you were to present something to be like an entire cobblestone driveway, I think it's pretty apparent that that probably would not be something that we would prove now. So I do appreciate your saying that there may be an opportunity for you to actually take this out at some point. But in the meantime, I think we do need a motion to approve what is there for now. I don't think anybody wants you to dig it up between now and Christmas, but I think that you have a general feel now for the fact that our members here don't think that this is appropriate to the neighborhood and to the historic district. And so just so you don't waste your time next time around, I'm just suggesting that you keep that in mind. That's all. Okay.
Absolutely. And we have that is heard loud and clear. If there's materials that the committee would recommend, we will happily pursue those routes. The only, I think, issue we have with driveway is we want it to be functional and allow for snow to be removed, et cetera, without excessive damage or anything like that. So if there are materials that are optimal that anyone would be willing to offer up, we would happily accept those types of recommendations, because I think, again, we are trying to find a solution that I think everyone will find to be better for the neighborhood, and are loath to even try to have anything that would not meet those needs. So I assure you, whatever plan we have will be fully vetted and also explored with you guys to try to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the committee.
Okay. So I don't know if anyone wants to suggest anything at this point or not, but if not, I would like someone to make a motion.
Are there public comments?
Oh, do you want me? I thought I asked for that before.
I think she
Are there
asked.
any-
Oh, should, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
There we go. Sorry about that. In light of the applicant's circumstances, which I don't think we will have a lot of precedent for, of imminent twins, and a desire to put in a fuller application for further plans, I would be, and I don't know if other commissioners would be, amenable to some sort of motion that would buy some time, that puts us down on the record as not being wild about this. Good thing Paul's here to make this all sound better, if he agrees. I don't know if not being wild is a legal term, but I don't necessarily, having heard from the applicant, in response to our reactions, I would be more amenable to sort of giving them some time to put in a fuller application that might ameliorate things without being under the ticking clock of getting this out. Oh, good. The subtle guy, good.
Yeah, first of all, I didn't mean to insult suburbanites, and certainly not the applicants here. My suggestion, and I do want to say that to the applicant, that no one on the commission, myself included, questions in any way whatsoever your good faith, your intentions here, nor the very constructive work you've done on that property to date. So this isn't a personal thing. It's not a criticism of you. My suggestion would be, and I'm prepared to make a motion to deny the application for a certificate of appropriateness, but allow effectuation of that denial, meaning remediation, to continue through December 31, 2024, so that the applicant has a reasonable opportunity to consider alternatives, and if desired, to implement those alternatives consistent with a further application to the commission. So in that regard, I make a motion to that effect. That is to deny the application for 462 Lexington Road for the driveway apron as submitted, subject to its remediation through December 31, 2024. That is remediation not later than December 31, 2024.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, we need a roll call vote. Tim,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Okay, I think we are in agreement that that is the most appropriate way to handle this, because as nice as it was for you to come back with something as soon as you thought about it, we also still don't really love things that go ahead and get built without us knowing about it. And I think this is a nice middle ground. So thank you for your application, Adam, and we look forward to seeing what you come up with next.
Yeah, we appreciate your leniency on this. Just so I understand too, as we come back with a plan that I think meets everyone's needs, is any apron appropriate in your collective opinion, or are there things that we should be very mindful of when we think about a future driveway design in particular? That I don't want to waste anyone's time. And I think, again, we are committed to making sure we find something that is aesthetically beautiful as well as functional and meets the needs of the committee.
You want to answer that, Dennis, or Paul? Paul, go ahead.
I think that's a little outside our purview, consistent with what the chair has said in the past. So I don't think we want to prognosticate and give advice with respect to what would be appropriate. But there are obviously other examples in the town within historic districts that might amplify your own thinking in that regard. So I don't think we should be giving a suggestion, but there are a lot of living suggestions around the town that may be helpful to you. That's a personal view, not a committee view.
Dennis, did you want
Okay.
to? I'm sorry.
Make it a committee view by by agreeing with Paul that plenty of examples around town of things we've approved, and I think you could just maybe talk with Ann about some of the things we've approved and go take a look at them, and I think that's the best way to proceed.
That sounds like a good plan. Thank you all for your time tonight.
All right. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jay Stevenson, 52 Bow Street. I don't see you, or Paula, are you representing him? To install fencing with gate and arbor?
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, okay. A different name appeared just before you. Can you tell us a little bit about what you want to do?
Yeah. So evening, nice to meet you all. It's Jay Stevenson at 52 Bow. We're proposing to put in a fence. It would be like a 6-foot cedar with a kind of top decorative piece to match the existing fence that's there. And then it'll have an arbor as the entrance to kind of match the style of fencing that's already in place at the house. The fence is going to be on the side and the rear of the home, so not at street line or anything like that. And what we're trying to do is just kind of contain a small area around the back of the house, but wanted to follow proper steps and protocol to do that. So yeah, so this is the existing fence that's on the back side of the property. The second picture is. And so what we're proposing to do is to do one like that second picture. The third picture there is just to show what the kind of style of fencing is, but we'll have that decorative piece along the top. And then arbor, yeah, that's I guess a bad screen that came through, but that's kind of the style of that rock porch style of fencing is what's existing. And then that is the section. So I crudely, you can barely see it, but I kind of crudely drew where it was going to go. And so it's, if you're familiar with this house, this is at the corner of Bow and Monroe Court. And so it's, the fence would be about halfway back along that wall on the side of the house. As you can kind of see there, it's a little bit clearer where it has fence line. And then on the back side of the house is there. And so this section right here, you can't see from the streets. The first section you can, but it's kind of along, around the side of the home. Yeah. And that's pretty much everything.
You don't have a picture of the front of the house because it's a little hard for me to.
If you go back to the first pictures, the very first picture is the front of the house that has kind of a patio with a small arbor.
Oh, right. Anne, are you still there? Could you put that up again? Because I'm just a little bit.
Not those. It was
No.
a different screen or a different batch of photos. Maybe the one that says 52 Bow existing.
There you go.
Yeah, so if you go to the first picture, that's the front of the home.
Oh, that's the front of the house. Okay.
Yeah, and
But
so
that stay the same?
yeah, that stays the same. No change there. It's actually, so if, I should have taken a better picture, but on the left side of that picture where you can see that gable, that is the garage that is shown in that next picture. So what our idea is to kind of continue that same style so that it matches the same front facade. It doesn't look like it was an afterthought or something like that.
So are you planning to paint it the same color or leave the cedar?
So it was kind of open, we could either leave it as natural or paint it the same color. We were really going to kind of ask you what you would prefer. It doesn't necessarily matter to us. Whichever way the committee would rather see that. Okay.
Well, let me start by calling on Tim.
Yeah, I just have a couple little detailed questions. And there's a little site plan. Can you pull that up?
Yes, give me a minute. Sorry, I'm on a different computer tonight and just have one screen, so it's a little bit tricky for me, but give me a minute.
while we're waiting, is it clear what can be seen from the street? Or is there perspective from the street? Maybe we saw it. I'm not
Yes,
sure I understand.
there's just one. Yeah, because it's a corner house, so it sits kind of, yeah. So if you see that the top part says fence with arbor. Yes, so that you can see from the street. But as you can tell, it's kind of towards the rear of the front facade. And then the other part where it says fence on the backside, you can't see that from the street.
Yeah, so that was one clarification. So the fence with arbor, that's coming off the side of the house and proceeding to, is it connecting to does the existing fence run the whole back of the property line?
The existing fence, yes, the fence runs the whole back of that property line. That's correct.
Okay, so you're just basically connecting that and then connecting it back to the house.
Correct.
With an arbor as a kind of a gateway in it, I guess, right?
Right. And what we didn't want to do, I mean, the house, so we recently moved in. We've been here for a few months, and the gardens are beautiful. We know that the previous owner had it on, the garden tour and things like that. So what we didn't want to do was to detract from any of the plants and stuff like that that are already out there. So we have it moved back far enough to where none of those are impacted. And then on the back side of the house, the reason that we put it there, same reason, we didn't want to move it out closer to where that would be a deterrent from all of the the plants and flowers and everything that is kind of
and is the existing fence I couldn't remember on the photo, is that unpainted, just weathering?
Existing fence is unpainted. Our front fence along the front patio is painted the same color as the house.
Yeah, so my gut reaction is to let it weather. Like I agree with you, pushing it back is the right move, and it's an attractive fence and it's tying in with the existing fence. And if you let it weather, that would seem normal to me. So I don't have any other comments or questions. Thank you.
Paul?
I don't have anything to add to that. I think it looks fine.
Catherine?
But I'm also a fan of the natural weathering.
Yeah.
Catherine?
Yeah, I would agree. I am inclined to say I would also prefer the weathered look for the fencing, and otherwise no objections to the plan or the design.
Walter?
I'm perfectly fine with it. I will say something about weathering, though. There is a product that can be applied to cedar that accelerates the weathering process. In a past discussion, I had forgotten about that, but it's rather effective. So if anyone wants to weather cedar more rapidly than nature allows, there is an option to do that. But I'm fine with this, and natural and weathered is just great.
Dennis?
I'm fine with this, and I go along with the weathering.
Kate?
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Same as Dennis.
And do you have any same as Dennis. Okay.
Same as Dennis.
So may I have a motion from the commission?
I move that we approve the fence at 52 Bow Street, I suppose with a condition that it be a weathered and not a painted fence.
Okay, and now we take a vote, starting with Tim.
Aye.
Paul? He's maybe. Paul? Are you Paul? Oh, we can't hear you. There you go.
It's difficult. Yeah. Listen, no, I agree.
Okay. Catherine?
Aye.
Walter?
I have a question. How many of us are voting?
Well, we all vote, but 5 of us count.
Oh, okay.
And I think you're not voting.
I'm not
in-
counting.
You're
It's
not
fine.
counting it, rather. You
Yeah.
are voting, but go
Yeah,
ahead and vote.
it's fine, yes. A strong aye.
Okay, Dennis,
Aye.
Kate?
I'll second it and I.
Okay, thank you. And I also am an aye. So thank you, Jay, for your application. Yeah, application, and I look forward to driving by and seeing it done.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And I'm actually happy that you guys all wanted the weathered. The painted was kind of like, well, if they make us paint it, we can. But so I'm happy about the weather. Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
Great.
All right.
Thanks. Have a
Good
good
night.
night.
Thank you. Our next and last. Oh, no, we do have a continuance, but anyway, Scott Thayer, I saw, there you are. 100 Kais Road, number 311, to replace a patio door.
Correct. Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time. We propose to remove the existing patio door, its associated side light and transom windows, and the exterior trim, all within the existing masonry opening, and replace it with a Anderson Frenchwood glider, patio door, the side light and transom windows, all in the same configuration as what you see in front of you. This is consistent with what's been done in the past many times in this building.
Right. Okey doke. I am familiar with this building, and so let me ask our commissioners to discuss what they feel about this. Tim?
No comments.
Paul's muted.
No.
No, oh, no, you're not. Go ahead.
Am I allowed to speak or no?
No.
Yes,
we-
anything that makes this building look less industrialized and is consistent with other approvals we've given as regards windows, doors, patios, and so on, I'm in favor of. So I agree with this proposed change.
Thank you. Catherine?
I would agree with Paul. Makes sense.
Walter?
Looks good.
Dennis?
I agree with everybody. Looks fine with me.
Kate? Can't hear you.
I agree with everybody too.
Are there any public comments? Okay, may I have a motion? Dennis, you look like you're getting ready, no? Oh.
Drink of water.
Oh.
What is?
I move,
I'll move, but I don't know. I don't have the agenda in front of me. What is the?
I move
What kind-
that we approve the certificate of appropriateness with respect to 100 Kais Road as proposed.
Thank you, Paul.
And parenthetically, I just want to say that all members are counted, but only the votes of certain members are recorded.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's take a vote on this. Tim,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Dennis? Dennis? You say aye, but I don't see you even. Okay. Funny enough, you're not on mute. And Kate?
Aye.
And I myself am an aye as well. Thank you, Scott. I think you're good to go, and I think it'll be a great improvement.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
You too.
Thank you.
Following Paul's remark, I have a question, Melinda, and that is, I believe only voting members can make a motion. Is that correct? Associate members cannot make the motion.
I don't know, quite frankly. I don't know.
My understanding is that if you are serving as one of the 5 counted, that you can make a motion. But if you are auxiliary, then you don't.
Yeah, that's my understanding also.
Yeah,
So I'm
That's
not
correct.
making motions tonight.
But we just took care of that last one because Paul stepped in, correct?
Yeah, yes.
So
That's why I
we're,
hesitated. That's
so
why.
we're okay, all right. I just thought because you look like you were ready, Dennis, that, and so. that's
They've
why.
been ready, but
So
All
actually, just for clarification, I see that there are 4 full members here tonight, and then who would be the 5th associate member that you're including as a voting member? Just for clarification for the minutes.
Well, I have, one, two, three, four. You're exactly right. So why don't we say Dennis, because he wrote the, he came up with it. No, you didn't do it. It can be anybody. We can do, on my list after Kate is Tim. So why don't we just say Tim as the,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a continued public hearing from Jamie Moran, 322 Low Road, Barrett's Mill Historic District, to replace doors and lighting. Is Jamie here or is Paula Vanderver?
Yes, hi, I was here last time, as a representative.
Okay,
Yep. So, you guys requested pictures of the doors and I did provide them, and then, to see if it was original, and I did find out that it was, put in the 1930s. So not original, and, I did send over the, photos, so I hope you got them.
and do we have a picture of that? I think we did see a picture.
I'm sorry.
before.
We have the pictures from last time. I was actually at a conference, so if they were sent like today, I did not receive them.
Okay,
Do you have them in your email that you could share?
Let me see, 1 second. Because I had, an associate actually send them over.
but
1
are they
second.
identical to the ones that you sent before?
No, there's some close-ups.
But it is the same type of door.
It's the same 2 doors that we're doing, but I've attached pictures of the current door, as the committee wanted to see those.
Okay, that's correct, right, I remember.
Yeah.
I do have the photos from last time, which I can share.
We also had lighting too, on that.
So I'm actually not involved with the lighting.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, we're just doing the 2 entry doors and then one existing vinyl window and the detached apartment facing the back of the house, not visible from the street.
right.
I'm just trying to find the pictures. Just give me 1 second.
So, Anne, did we have something separate about the lighting, or that's?
No, you know, I'm not sure how that even got on there. I'm sorry, we are short-staffed. The person who's been working with HTC is no longer working for HTC, and so there were other helpers, and that may have been something that just got through the cracks. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything at all about lighting, so I'm not sure why that's in the description.
All right, so we probably want to take that off since he doesn't know anything about it anyways, and nothing's been submitted to you with lighting, correct?
No, right, I've only seen the 2 doors.
Okay,
Let's see. Can you guys see my screen?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is one of the photos of the front door, not the detached apartment. This is the main house. And I'm gonna zoom in here. There's some consistent rot when you kind of go through that crack on the bottom right, as well as some separation on the bottom left of the door where they've had water come in several times over. And then on the bottom right, there's cracking throughout the door consistently. And this is going to be the one replaced here.
Okay, and the owners were the one that said to you that they were able to discover the date that those were installed, correct?
Yes, I called the homeowner directly, and I believe it was Paula. She said that it was the 1930s.
Yep.
And I believe it was before she mentioned the Rockefellers after the Rockefellers. That's how she was able to gather a date, because she knew who was there before and the people that were there before that.
Okay. All right.
And then I do have some other pictures. This is the this was the door in the detached apartment, and that would be replaced as well.
With the same type of door that you're using on the front, correct?
Correct. The only difference is this one. Sorry?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say this one's gonna come just prime so that they can match the color consistently, and it's gonna be a smooth door similar to what you see.
Okay, this one doesn't look in such bad condition though, huh? They
Nope.
just to match.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also functionality, I guess, was a little bit more of a problem with this one.
Okay. All right. Well, let's call on our commissioners to see what they have to say. I'll start with Tim.
Okay.
So I saw the some of the research that Ann had done on the age of this house. This is really quite an exceptional house. And I understand the doors are in their 30s or whatever. But I have concerns about putting a fiberglass door performs well and it has the same pattern, but it's going to be a very, very smooth door in this very highly textured and I think quite beautiful house. And I just have a lot of question about that. I would much prefer to see, I mean, the first photo we saw, I think on the original house, that door has a lot of texture and it doesn't seem to have, so one option is to try to repair that door because it has this amount of texture that the existing house has. Or the other option is to consider replacing both doors with wood doors that are salvage doors that work with closer. You know, you're not going to find a 1700s door likely, but there's lots of ways to make solid wood doors weather tight and rot resistant and expansion proof with sealing and painting. So before the jumping to just putting in vinyl fiberglass doors that are really different, you know, we would be given the same treatment if somebody was replacing the windows. We would be all over that stuff, and so I have concerns about the fiberglass doors. I'm changing my tune from the last meeting, especially after seeing up close. Is there a way to put in doors that are more in keeping with the house and not a smooth fiberglass door? So those are my comments. Thank you.
Paul?
Yes. I guess my first question is, of these two doors, are both visible from the public way or only one?
Both are technically visible from the public way, but it is not easily visible, as I would say. It's far off from the street. It's, you know, it's not right in front of the street. So, but yes, it is visible.
Are we talking a couple 100 feet or 50 feet? Give me a frame of reference because I don't know.
Yeah, probably like 50 feet.
Okay. Do we have, or maybe did we have last time, an example of the proposed new door? What are we? We've just seen 2 existing doors, I think, right?
Yep,
Or was
yeah.
the second one on placement?
No, so we only looked at the existing doors. Last meeting, I had you guys pulled up the photo that I sent over to show what would be replaced, which would be a textured
Can you show
fiberglass.
us that again? Because I have a weak memory.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Sorry, just a second. Here we go.
So this would be the front door. It's our textured fiberglass door to replicate what the existing door is now. And then the one on the detached apartment would be more of the smooth fiberglass to replicate what they have now. And that would be.
I don't understand that. I don't understand what you just said. Talk right and left. The one that has configurations on it on the right side of that photograph, I guess they both do. It's just more subtle in the dark color, right? They have the same kind of configuration, physical demarcations, indentations, whatever you want to call them.
Yep, that's right.
Is the
So
graining molded in on both doors to the same degree?
Graining. Okay. Yeah.
yep.
Okay. And those proposed doors are a fiberglass product.
Correct.
Okay. With all respect to my colleague, I think at this distance, and given that we have to make some overture to the currency of the times and weather protection, I'm not opposed to replacing those doors, which at that distance would be indiscernible to anybody from, say, a wood door of roughly equal, or comparable surface. So I'm not opposed to a synthetic door. And in fact, I'm in favor of a certain amount of practical efficiency for the homeowner in that respect, both from a leakage standpoint, a heat reduction standpoint, or a protection standpoint. So I don't easily fall on the sort of we have to have a 50-year-old wooden door or a 20-year-old wooden door as opposed to a new product, particularly because no one can tell as a practical matter.
Thank you. Catherine?
I agree with Paul. I mean, I think at some point you really do have to consider the practicalities. And as we know, our weather is only getting crazier and squirrelier by the minute. So I think, again, with the wood grain finish and at a distance, this would be a fine replacement. I mean, we cannot deny the charm of the existing door, but, practically speaking, I think we do need to, consider the homeowner's approach to this. And so I have no problem with it.
Thank you. Walter?
At the last meeting, I was concerned that we didn't have a clear picture of what the doors looked like, nor a clear idea of actually how old anything was. My concern was that we were going to be eliminating what was potentially several hundred-year-old door for fiberglass. I'm torn. Partly, I agree with Paul about it not being, not really mattering if you can't see it. On the other hand, purview does allow comment on what is visible. And I am not, as I quoted last meeting, I'm not in favor of fiberglass materials in an historic property when it could be at least a small concession to the original materials wood, even if it's not a, even if it's a modern version of that wood. So my vote doesn't, I say with a smile, doesn't count. So that's my comment at this point as far as that goes. I am looking also at agenda notes from last meeting from October 19th. And the applicant's request is listed as to replace doors and lighting. That's in the synopsis at the start, but there is no mention about the lighting past that. I'm trying to remember if we actually discussed it a little bit in the meeting. I think that we did, but it is not part of the agenda notes beyond the précis at the start, and doesn't seem to appear anywhere else. I'm still a little bit at sea about the overall context of those doors in how the house appears from the street. The pictures are not all that clear. And I will say that there, in my research on this, looking at 320 Lowell, it was Concord Home of the Week in the Patch a while ago, and there's a rather extensive article, as such things go, and probably 10 or a dozen pictures of the interiors and the exteriors. It gives a little bit more context, as well as a better shot of what are the existing doors. So to sum up, if they're from the 1930s, I feel less defensive about them being lost. I'm still not a fan of fiberglass when wood can be made to work well. You know, it's not as modern. I understand that, as Paul was saying, but it's a concession to the history of materials, and we are talking about history. There you go.
Thank you. Dennis?
I wish the proposal were to put a more appropriate door to the period of the house on the house. This is definitely a 30s door, and has that sort of Georgian revival feeling to it. I don't think it comes quite close to what might have been. If you look at other early houses in Concord. There's an echo, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how to avoid that. I guess it's better. Thank you. I'm definitely in favor of wooden door. I have fiberglass doors on my garage that I just built that are textured fiberglass, and they look like textured fiberglass. And I know that there's the distance here, so you may not see it, but I just think it's inappropriate. It should definitely be a wooden door, in my opinion. But then my opinion doesn't count. So I'll leave it at that.
You're muted. You're muted, Melinda, I think.
Thank you. Sorry.
There you
Go ahead.
go. Who?
You, Kate.
Oh, okay.
Kate Chartner.
It hadn't been heard. I hear what both Paul and Catherine are saying, but I agree that I think for this house, it should be wooden doors. It's the original 1701 property. And although it's their 1930s doors, in fact, a lot of antique houses in Concord were renovated in the early 30s. That's kind of when new doors came on and closets got made or enlarged, or doorways between maybe a dining room and something else got enlarged. So there was sort of a little mini trend there. This house presumably was part of. And so I'm sticking with Tim and the wooden doors.
Are there any public comments? I think, oh, Paul, go ahead. You're muted, Paul. I can't hear you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think what Walter and Dennis and even Kate have said is important, and I don't mean to diminish the critical importance of historic reference, and even though they're 1930s doors, and I would support wooden doors or fiberglass doors. My only concern about this is I think sometimes we go too far in micromanaging these homeowners, and That I don't like to see, because as I've said many times in these public meetings, we are part of this community and we need to work with the community. And if they feel, I'm on the fence on these, wooden, whether it's wooden or fiberglass, I'm on that fence. I could support either, because the homeowner wants fiberglass, and because from a visual standpoint, that is to say, from an historic perspective to the passersby, they're not going to be able to tell, then I advert to the wishes of the homeowner. But that's not because I'm right. It's just because that's my particular balance. So I have great respect for what Walter and Dennis and Kate have said, because I think those are important. And in other houses, I'm going to be supportive of that, just not this house, in this circumstance, at this distance. A little windy, but you get my point.
I'd just like to weigh in my, Walter, go ahead. Walter, we can't hear you. Wait, we can't hear you.
Sorry, there we
Yep.
are. Yeah, I would just say to Paul that I understand the point, and what you're saying is in this circumstance, you wouldn't insist on wood, and I would say that in many circumstances, I wouldn't insist on wood and be perfectly happy with fiberglass. But what's driving my view of this is that it is starting as a 300-year-old structure, and that I think is different than if it were a 1930s house with a compromised 1930s wooden door. So, yeah, I'm not to say I'm not wed to either, but I would lean towards keeping the wood rather than consciously allowing a very modern material, which, as I quoted last meeting as well, is the guidelines are suggesting that we don't do that.
Thank you. I would just like to say that I personally have vacillated on this, but I do believe at the end of the day, when I looked at that door and it's 10 coats of paint, you're never going to see that happen on a plastic door. And if you have a wooden door, ultimately, you will get closer to the look that is there now. I would like to think that the cost differential was not too significant. I have absolutely no idea. I've never replaced a door myself. I know some people go through great efforts to find older doors, whether you could find who that matched, might be possible. I could go either way, but I would also say that my preference would be for wooden doors. Tim?
Melinda, when you said cost, were you talking about wood versus fiberglass?
Yes. I really don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit on the fence myself. I mean, I've replaced many doors, and I know exactly what Paul is talking about. And there's the functionality and distance. I just think, given the age of the house, and we've had no other proposal other than fiberglass. And if I would like to have seen, okay, what could be, as an applicant, what could be proposed, either repairing the existing doors, which I can understand as a 30s door, is that the right move? Don't know. Or replacing it with a wood door that's more in that era, that's been, or older door that's been sized properly, or a new wood door. I think we're just seeing one option here, which is fiberglass. And just to say on this era house that that's the solution, without considering other options. And I know we're talking about other options, but I would like to have seen that kind of care given to the thought about these doors, and then make a decision given the pros and cons of each, because we're really just being presented with one option. And I also think that, I mean, even if it was just a new wood door properly sealed, I would prefer to see that over fiberglass.
Yeah, I can touch on that. The homeowner has had issues with water leaking and the threshold on the bottom of the front door, especially. So when I first walked into that home months ago, the first thing they said is they did not want to repair the door. They didn't prefer it because they didn't think it would solve the immediate problem that they were having, which is the structure of it. So then we got into the types of door materials, and I talked about how there's low maintenance versus maintenance, obviously. And given the age of the homeowners, they strongly preferred the low maintenance, which then I tried to explain, what we could do as far as matching the existing as best we can. And if you'd like to, kind of get even closer to that current look, I know you talked about how there's 10 coats of paint on it. The material that we're doing is paintable as well. So you can actually throw more than what would come out of the factory as far as paint goes. And you could put, whatever color and how many coats you'd like to do. So there's that point as well. But to solve the problem that they're having, we have to do an entire door threshold, everything, new framing. And that's the only way to solve the issue that they're having. So that's how I see it.
The clarification, now you're confusing me. You're saying if you put fiberglass, you don't have to replace the whole surround and the threshold and everything, but if you put
Yeah,
wood,
I'm
you
confused.
No, I'm saying that with the fiberglass, we are replacing everything. That's the solution we're providing for the homeowner. So it's the threshold in the bottom. We're gutting the entire opening out down to the studs, and that's how we're gonna secure the door, the opening, and everything in between. That way, the main problem that they were having, which is water coming in and leaking and everything in between, and bugs and what give you, is not going to occur again. So that's why we never went down the repair the door slab itself or anything in between.
okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Are there any other public comments or comments from commissioners?
Yes. So now I'm a little confused. As proposed then, is the entire jam going to be fiberglass then to match the door, or is it going to be wood? Did I miss something?
No, so we're gonna replace everything. The only thing that's going to be fiberglass is the door slab, right? It's just the door. But all the trim on the interior and exterior is all getting replaced to match what's currently there. Everything's going to be painted to what's currently there, or if it's on the interior, it's going to be a pine finish, and then the homeowner can essentially stain, to match, and then the threshold in the bottom to make sure that it's all, kind of finished is going to be all replaced as well. So.
Okay.
Paul? Okay, we can't hear.
Yeah, I thought Tim made a very important point, which is, in a sense, the presentation is kind of monochromatic here. We have one option. So I think it would be beneficial if we understood what the wood option is versus, if we label it plastic door or fiberglass door as opposed to environmentally secure door, we get a whole different image. So the labels, we have to be careful of labels in this business. But either way, it does seem to me that it would be useful for us to have a comparative. And while it's a nuisance to the homeowner, I think the incremental cost of giving us that comparative is relatively modest. So I think Tim raises an important point. We're being given a Hobson's choice. So let's get another horse and pick from one of each, or pick from both.
Sure. Anderson does not do wood entry doors currently. We only do fiberglass and steel doors. So I'm not sure how we would go about this. If you want the homeowner to contact another company to do a wood door, or how that would go, but I wouldn't be able to provide you a wood quote or a wood example. Only we typically do a
But there's a
patio.
contractor, isn't there? Isn't there a contractor? Aren't there carpenters? I mean, this doesn't seem like, pardon the expression, but rocket science.
I said, Trey, you had said the last meeting that you're a designer.
Yeah, so I work for Renewal by Anderson, which is the
Okay, well, that was my next question. Who do you work?
Yeah.
Who do you work for? Okay, so is there a contractor chosen for the job already?
No.
Okay, so you're saying that your company does not offer a wood door?
Yeah, so we don't bid out anything. It's essentially we only have the select options that we do. We do Provia door. We do Provia entry doors. The Provia entry doors come in fiberglass and they come in steel doors. Now patio doors.
So by speaking to you at the start, they've already eliminated the possibility of there being a wood door through the channel that they've started on.
Correct. They called us on the mere factor of us that we've advertised certain types of doors, and that's why they reached out to us, and then how I'm here.
Kim?
Not to belabor this too much, but you go to Concord Lumber and they've got lots of companies that'll give you a wood door, Simpson, Roscoe, whole bunch, oak, mahogany, whatever. So I'm Trey, I know you carry a certain line. I think that's part of the problem we're having here is we're just looking at one option for durability, which as a homeowner, I totally understand, but I think the homeowner has to understand that we're asking for, maybe I'm jumping to the conclusion of what the committee is going to come to a final agreement on, but I would like to see investigation of wood door options, either a new wood door in the same general configuration as what there is now, or with wood frame and wood threshold and it's properly sealed, so it's and all weather strip tight to solve the homeowner's concerns, or if they want to take a look at salvage.
The dog.
Is that me or your dog you're talking to? Or a salvage door. So so that's just so we have and try to come to that's what I would like to have seen from the homeowner. And it may be Trey, maybe someone else other than yourself speaking. It sounds like where the homeowner has to find a contractor who's looking at the various options. We don't want to make this complex for the homeowner, but I think to ask for a solution of a wood door, either salvaged or new, in keeping with that period of house is not an unreasonable request.
Yeah, I can definitely talk to the homeowner. It's just I'm not a contractor, so I don't have all these options to provide. We have typically one or two solutions per product, whether it's a window, door, etc. For example, for the windows, we don't do vinyl. We do what we do. We don't, it's very cut and dry. But I can talk to the homeowner, and if you guys don't approve it, I can just have them go a separate route with wood and let them know what the decision is, because I wouldn't be inclined to go out to find a wood door to show that I wouldn't even be a part of. So it wouldn't make much sense.
Any other comments from the commission?
I'll
Dennis.
make Just to belabor this, I'll make one more comment, and that is, if I'm not around and you decide to go with a fiberglass door, for heaven's sakes, don't make it textured fiberglass. This door is not textured; it's painted, and it doesn't, and it'll look like faux wood. So if you go with the fiberglass, make it smooth. Don't make it textured. Trey, do you do an untextured door?
We do. We can do a smooth fiberglass.
Good. Skip the texture.
Okay, smooth it is.
I think, and there are no other public comments, is that correct?
Can I make a public comment?
Yes, who is calling?
Woodrow
go
Vandenberg, the owner of the house.
Ah,
Now, what I find interesting here, this house goes back to 1701. This house does not look like it looked in 1701. In 1815, it got another section added. In 1900, it got another section added. And what you're after is looks. And if you want looks, those doors proposed by Anderson look right. The wood doors are impossible to get at this point because of the age of the doors. We looked through that process also. What you want is, how does the house look? Does it look like 1701? No. Does it look like 1816? No. Does it look like whatever? There's like been 12 generations of people that have lived here, and each one has lived in different. The material of whether something is made of wood or fiberglass is pretty moot if it looks right, if it fits into the house, and that's what we tried to replace. We tried to find doors that made it look just like it looks now, and you had those in the photos. One thing that was not emphasized on the 322, the outbuilding, we actually, during that heavy rain, if you remember, we had about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, we actually had water come into the floor because of the door. This is because it's wood and it's old. So to hold yourself about saying, well, it's fiberglass, it won't look like fiberglass. It will look like the rest of the house. It will be painted and all to make it look. If you saw what the pictures were, they looked. We were very sensitive about that. You can look at the map of the position of the house, though. We're also about probably 200 feet from the road. This is not something you see from that distance. You don't see it almost anywhere. But we are trying to maintain a house that's been maintained for 13 generations. And I find that to think that it can only be made with cedar wood or maple wood, it's bananas.
thank you. My only thought is that there are many doors out there, wooden doors out there in the market that do not let water into the front door. I think most of us have wood doors that allow us to have dry homes. But I do appreciate what you're saying, and I think there has also been a strong case here for the fact that it's not as close to the road as that would make it immediately obvious that it is not an old wooden door. So I think we need to come up with a motion here. It is nice to hear from you directly, quite honestly, to hear that you have actually looked at both solutions. And you obviously feel quite strongly that this is the better way to go. And if you think that the smoother door, as one of our commissioners has suggested, is actually a better solution, that's fine. But also, you know, you can go either way, and I think it would be fine. So I think if one of our commissioners would like to make a motion at this point, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, could I address Mr. Vanderveer in this respect? Mr. Vanderveer, it sounds as though you have done some homework with respect to the possibility of a wood door. Could you amplify that a little bit for us? I think you need to understand that we're not trying to prevent you from doing what you want. We're trying to come to the best solution that has structural and weather integrity and consistency with our purposes. So I'm hoping you'll work with us on that. But tell us what you did do as regards deciding on the door, if you'd be kind enough to do that.
One issue we looked at or talked to people about is the current doors that are in there are not modern standard width doors. You can't get modern wood doors. You really have to buy a whole frame, which is what Anderson was providing. These doors were undoubtedly handmade back whenever they were done, and each of the doors around the house are different. They're not the same. These doors are not handmade, but the frames are not the standard widths that you will now find. They're out of code. You actually when you go put a new front door here, it has to be a little bit wider than where it is currently to be within code for a building. And so that was part of the interesting solution, was to find a way to have a door that meets modern code and can be put in. To put the other, you'd go through a whole other process of approval because you're out of code and building code with the current wooden doors. They're not the right width, for example. Or at least ours aren't, is what I think. Anyway.
It's the code now. They have to be wider.
The code now is they have to be wider.
Wider and larger.
Yeah. So if we were replacing them, we wouldn't make it on a different level. If we just tried to make them exactly the same they were, and then you have to handcraft it, etc. Anyway.
So you're saying if you went with wood, it would have to be a custom door, and the cost of that would be prohibitive?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But you couldn't really replace it for. I do not know that you could not put the door in because you don't tell anybody that you put the door in. You could do that.
What are you saying?
Because it's not code.
But you're saying a fiberglass door is code?
No, we're saying the door that we're looking at, which is fiberglass with its frame, is code. You may be able to find that in some other wooden ones, which we have not found. And we said, this is good enough because it looks like, when you look at it painted stained, you cannot tell that that's fiberglass. That looks like wood. That looks just like the door that does. Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's interesting.
Are we ready for a motion on this?
Dennis, did you want to say something? You're lighting up. No.
Said enough.
I don't think anybody else has any more comments. Is that correct? All right. Tim?
Just a quick comment is, I've ordered several custom wood doors through Concord Lumber. There's about a 20% premium over regular wood doors, so it's not a difficult process. And the only code issue might be aware of, it might have to be a 3-foot wide door, which I don't know what other code restrictions there would be when you get a door and hardware and frame and threshold. Those are all pretty common things that all meet code when you order wood doors. So just wanted to clarify that. And I also agree. I think if you go to a fiberglass door, if we end up a fiberglass door, I totally agree with Dennis that it should be smooth and not textured. Painted fiberglass smooth door is going to look very similar to a painted wood door. I cannot disagree with that. Those are hopefully my final comments.
Can I have a motion from one of our commissioners?
I move that we approve the certificate of appropriateness for the property at 320 to 22 Lowell Road for installation of replacement doors as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
I'd like to go for a vote. Tim?
I'd like to propose we add the condition of it being a smooth fiberglass rather than textured fiberglass. If committee members agree.
Well, why don't we go around and say who agrees with that? Paul?
Yeah, I agree and consider that an appropriate amendment to the motion as made.
Okay. And so Tim, let's go back to your vote. With the amendment,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Walter,
Nay.
Catherine,
Aye.
Dennis,
Nay.
Kate,
Nay.
and I also am a nay. Because we have we do not approve this application as submitted. I think we would like to see a second option here. We've given you a number of reasons why. And I hope that with a little more research, we might get a little closer to a different solution, but that is definitely seems to be the preference for the majority of our commissioners. All right. So let us continue with our other business. We have minutes to approve from August 3rd and August 17th. And
It's
Madam
actually
Chairman,
just-
could I ask a procedure question here?
sure.
Is the last applicant required to make an entirely new submission? Or should we consider, if he wants to do it, or if they want to do it, a continuation? Notwithstanding that we just voted to deny the certificate of appropriateness. Should we ask them?
You know what, that's a good question. What would your
Yeah.
Walter,
I think it has to be one or the other. I think it can either be a denial or a continuance. I don't think it can be both. But I don't know for certain, but that's been my understanding.
I think that's right, but I guess I'm just raising the question whether we want to make them jump through all the hoops all over again, as opposed to make the submission for which the commission is asking as a result of, in other words, some alternatives.
right. Well, I like the idea of a continuance. Is that something the rest of our committee members would agree to as well? I need to ask that. Walter?
I think a continuance with a chance to discuss some of this in greater depth is the smartest way to go if we can.
Okay, Catherine?
I agree.
Kate?
Yes. I agree.
Okay, and Dennis?
Fine with me.
Okay. Then
So I think we should first, let me make a motion to vacate our prior denial of the certificate of appropriateness for the property at whatever it is, 320 to 22.
And you also need the approval of the applicant for continuance at this point, because you're very far into, a lot of time has lapsed, right? So you do need the approval of the applicant as well for that continuance.
all right, so Jamie, is this something you would like to do, or do you want to just stop right here? You're on mute. Jamie, are you there? We can't hear you. Jamie, I'm still seeing you as on mute. And what do you suggest if he can't hear us?
Is Mr. Spatafora still on the air here?
Sorry?
Hi, this is Woody Vandiver.
Oh,
Jamie is working, Jamie is representing us. I would say we would like the continuance because it is our property, our house.
oh, okay.
He initiated it, but we would like to continue with it, and he probably has left the meeting, I gather.
I believe that's true. Okay, so you are okay with us?
We are okay to continue, that is correct. Although I don't know, back on your legal things, Jamie is the one that signed the paperwork, so he started the sequence. But he represents us.
Anne, do you want to make a comment about that?
Right, I don't have the application in front of me, but the applicant is supposed to be the property owner, so that's a whole other issue.
Yeah, it's listed as Jamie Moran, the applicant.
And that's how it was posted in the legal ads as well.
He's a representative from Anderson, and they're the ones that we didn't want to know anything about this, and they were taking care of it. But we are the ones on the property.
We can look at other options.
And so you have Woodrow and Paul Vandiver agree for continuance.
And we can look for other options.
So,
Okay.
So based on past precedent, when there were issues with the application itself and the property owner had not signed the application, they had to submit.
I signed.
Paul Vandiver did sign on the actual application.
Oh, okay, okay.
We had
I'm
no.
sorry, I just don't have it in front of me. Okay.
so Madam Chairman, I move that we vacate the prior vote with respect to denial of the application for certificate of appropriateness for 320 to 322 Lowell Road. And that we continue the matter for the next meeting, or as long as the applicant wishes for additional submission.
Okay, let's take a vote on that then. Tim?
Second.
Aye.
Paul? Oh, I need a second. I'm sorry. Did Walter, you were the second, right?
Yes, I can't second.
Okay, Catherine?
I second it.
That was a question, not a second.
Okay. Thank you, Tim. And so let's just again start with you for the vote. Tim, please.
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
And Dennis?
Aye.
And I also am an aye. Thank you all for your contributions here tonight. And Paul, I do hope that you're able to find some other possibilities with too much trouble.
Madam Chairman, don't we need to pick a date to which it is continued?
That I don't know. Anne?
Well, the next meeting date is November 16th.
Would that give you enough time, Paul? Paul?
Hello?
Yeah,
Paul?
would November
Woody.
16th give you enough time?
Probably.
Well, we're gonna have to find different contractors, and it's hard to do that. So it's gonna take a little time to find another contractor.
Okay, well, we don't mean to rush you. We just need
no,
to
Yeah, if you could put it on that date you had, and we might only need 2 minutes because we're saying we give you a progress report. If we're
Okay.
not, we will try to proceed, but we, having been through this to get to where we now are, it takes time.
Okay, well, if you would rather move it back even another month or 6 weeks, that's
Yeah.
okay too.
Hopefully not, hopefully at max a month.
Okay, so you want to go for the 16th, or what's the following meeting? I'm not looking at calendar right now. Hold
The
on.
following meeting isn't until December 21st.
That's pretty late.
Okay. All right, so we go with the 16th and see if you can.
Right, and the 16th of which month? 16th of
November.
All right, we'll do what we can.
We'll give him.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And have a good night.
Right, thank you.
Okay. The last item on our agenda, because I don't think we're really going to discuss the 2024 schedule tonight, is the minutes from August 3rd and August 17th. Are there any corrections that anybody found?
I did
you
review them,
only have-
Linda. I didn't see any.
Right, and you only have the August 17th minutes after all, so if you could just table the August 3rd ones, that would be great.
Okay, we'll take that off.
When did these go out? I haven't seen the minutes either.
I think I put them out the day after I sent the email, so it was probably Monday,
Okay.
Tuesday. You could table them
Okay.
both till the next meeting too.
It didn't get it, or you just haven't read what? Did the 3rd get sent as well? Minutes from the 3rd? Ann?
No, I just asked if we could please table those. They weren't in the state that I was expecting them to to see them in. I typically just edit them, but these I think I'll have to reconstruct.
Okay.
So what are you saying? That we just table this and take about 2 weeks from now?
Yes.
Okay. And I don't need a motion for that, do I?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And maybe
and Anne, were you familiar with that? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
ahead.
what? Sorry, what was your question?
Oh, well, it's not on that. My question is on the next. Or anything you were aware of that you wanted to light, or is that
Yes, so
about 2024, or is
on the 2024 schedule, I'm sorry, you're kind of breaking up, so I hope I'm coming through okay. So there are 2 issues. The Natural Resources Commission has decided to move from twice a month to every 3 weeks. And so we thought that maybe you would like to consider that too. So that would reduce the number of meetings per year from about 24 to 17. So that's one possibility. And then I've heard too that Thursday nights can be difficult because there are so many town meetings on Thursday nights, and I've encountered this myself. So another possibility would be moving the regular meetings to a Wednesday night, and we could actually that's the same night as the Natural Resources Commission. So if we were both on a 3-week schedule, that would actually work out well. So it's just a couple of things for you to consider, like which night of the week and how frequently you want these meetings to occur.
And I have one other question. Do you see us giving up the Zoom calls or continuing with this?
It's up to you. I mean, I think we tried it maybe a year ago and we had maybe 2 or 3 meetings that were hybrid, but
Uh-huh.
there were very few people who could make it, and we're
Right.
already having difficulty getting a quorum. So,
Right.
but obviously, whatever you want to do as a commission, I'm happy to follow along with.
I'd like to just do a quick check and have everybody, excuse me, everybody just raise their hand and say, if you would Wednesday night work better for you? And if the answer is yes, please raise your hand right now. I just want just a quick check. So we're about, are you a yes,
half.
Kate?
It's a half hand.
Kate, half. All right, but that's still most of us right now. And then I would also like the same question. Would you prefer to go to 3 weeks? Every 3 weeks?
My query on 3 weeks is it would be fewer meetings, but would they be longer?
Probably.
Depends, but probably right.
Right, and would it be
Get into door discussions that could go on forever.
40.
And yet our sessions have been shorter recently. They've been shorter.
they have?
And so actually, I think it's very possible that it would be very similar to what it is now. But anyway, so I would say overall, we don't have everybody here, that it looks like the majority would prefer both of those options. And
Mix it up.
can take another vote when Louis comes back on the 16th, and we might have more people as well to run that by. Okie doke. Tim?
Do we have, is it our choice as to whether it's in person, Zoom, or hybrid? Is it the committee? Is that the committee's choice?
Yes.
I don't know. Anne, what do you say about that?
Yes, it is the committee's choice.
I was just going to offer, I don't know, you haven't asked that question, but I'm not, this seems actually to be one kind of committee and content where Zoom seems to work okay. That's my opinion. So I would prefer Zoom just in the interest of time and travel.
I agree. I also think sometimes more people from the public tune in than we had when we were live in person.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I agree. And I tell you, the worst thing is the hybrid.
Yeah,
they just don't work very well. And so I would go with Zoom, but if not Zoom in person, but no hybrids.
Right. Right.
But I gather, Anne, we have to offer a hybrid, right? Isn't that the thing we have to do these days?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I could ask.
Paul?
Yeah, I have a little different view. I think a lot has been lost in terms of the human interaction, the collegiality among the members by having all Zoom meetings. I mean, I don't know about anybody else in business, but I think most business people are pretty well Zoomed out. So I would favor a circumstance in which at least, 4, 5, some arbitrary number of meetings are mandatory in person.
Right.
Actually, a few people can't show up, but we get to know one another, and the interactions are very different.
Right.
The human side is very different. So, and I frankly miss that, the sort of gentle chides and obsessions and so on. So anyway,
you don't do enough of that now.
I should also say that I'm irrelevant because I'm going off in December.
What?
Yeah, in January.
My term is up.
Has it been 5 years already for you?
No, he didn't do 5 years. No way. Really? 5?
That's hard to believe. Yeah.
Jeez.
Seems like an eternity. I know, right?
I know. I need a new pen before you go, Paul. Oh yeah, I want an in-person meeting. I'll give you a nice pen once.
Oh, there you go. I actually do agree with that. And I think even if we had 4 a year, sort of every other,
Yeah, even every other month.
Yeah, I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
And,
I've
may-
never been to a live HTC.
Well, exactly.
Oh, well, you're in for a
And-
treat.
And actually, we did usually get a lot of people from the public
Yeah.
coming. I
We
think
did.
we got more then
did.
than what we get online now.
Yeah,
But
we had Kate coming in by bicycle in the summer months.
That's
So,
right. You weren't there when I
Um,
used to bring champagne and then I got spanked,
that-
but
I
yeah.
sure was not there.
That's
that
right.
was- That's
Yeah.
hard to do on Zoom. I would say though, that we might want to say, let us not do it in the winter months, like January, February, March, because it is a pain to go out in the snow and, and we could do every other meeting from maybe March through December, but I'd be very up for not having to travel in the night.
Are there, if we go to this 3-week schedule, is that, Ann, did you say that's results in 17 meetings or something?
Right.
That's right.
So if we did 1 out of 3 in person, which I like the idea of that too.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 or 4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be terrific, actually. So anyways, all right, so I think we're ready to adjourn. And so would someone like to give us? a
Oh, wait,
motion?
I have one, I think it's gonna be an embarrassing question. But how many people, so out of a vote of 5, how many people does it take? Do we have to be unanimous to pass something? Because on the fiberglass door, we had 3 yays and 2 nays.
No, I don't
Wasn't
think we
it-
have unanimous. I
wasn't
think we only have to
everyone
be
around?
the majority.
Right? Wasn't it a majority?
I
Tim,
thought the
Paul,
nays were,
Catherine, yay. Me and Melinda, nay.
I don't think it has to be a majority. I mean, everyone, I don't think we need a 5.
Unanimous.
No.
So then the door passed,
Yeah.
Oh,
right? Sorry, Janice and Walter.
I'm
counted
sorry,
nays,
I-
but since they were nays, they didn't count.
I
I thought,
don't even know who voted. Who?
Just throw that out there before we adjourn. We haven't spent enough time on the issue now. Just dropping a procedural bomb. I gotta
Well,
go,
it was
guys.
vacated.
This is Ann's department. This is Ann's
Are
department.
are you saying that it passed? Can you rescind
wait,
that?
are
you
we,
said it
are we
passed?
sure there were 3, not 4? I don't think,
3-2, I passed, you passed.
Oh,
So
jeez.
the doors.
Well, what's the recorded vote? Where's Ann?
Anne?
I'm here. So Paul moved. And then I didn't catch the whole vote. I'd have to go back and listen to it again.
Well, it sounds like it was 3-2 yay.
The voting members account are and that wasn't, Melinda, that wasn't clear because you didn't, I wasn't sure who you assigned to be the 5th person.
Tim,
And I thought it was 3-2 nay. Okay, by the way, but
Okay.
that was
I
my
had to-
understanding. And I think we decided that our
I guess that's right. You decided Tim, sorry.
yeah. 1, 2.
I thought it was.
I was a yay.
The top 5, and Tim was yay. Or no, what were you, Tim? Nay or yay?
I was a yay.
with the
I was a
condition,
nay.
yeah.
And
And then I
Paul,
think Catherine, Kate, and Melinda all said no.
No,
No,
I
Catherine
was a
said
yay.
yes.
No, I was a yay.
Oh,
I have it written down. Sorry, I was taking notes at the time.
So
But I didn't really tally it up until just now.
Thank you.
Well, what is the official vote? And do we know?
I think it passed, didn't it?
Sounds like it passed.
right. Okay. So, Paul, you
And
were
then it
yay,
was
Tim
vacated.
I voted for it, yes.
and Tim voted for it. Is that right? with the condition that it be smooth fiberglass and not textured. Catherine, what did you say? You said
I voted for it under
For
those
it?
same conditions, yep.
okay. So then Catherine and Melinda said no, and Walter.
Kate.
Yeah, Kate and Melinda said no.
Kate and Melinda said no, and Walter and Dennis also said no. But the last two votes do not count.
Okay.
So you're
I
right,
like-
that would be 3 in favor and 2 against, and then 2 votes that didn't count.
Right.
But
Thank
This
you.
is the end of your lucky day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Just when you guys thought I was talking to my dog.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
yeah,
yeah,
like
sorry
your
about
dog.
that. I didn't keep track enough of the voters versus non-voters, so I heard more against, so that's the way it stands. And you don't have to spend a lot of time doing it unless you still feel like doing it.
sure.
One thing I'd love to do is invite you to come look at the doors. I think you'll discover that what is proposed will look, you won't know the difference. You really won't. I mean, we've been through this.
This is a farm.
This is a farmhouse, and thing you have to realize, who cares what it was in 1930? Because how about 1880? How about 1816? What year do you want to look at? It will look right. It will look like where it now is.
Family who lived in this house extended it.
Well, yeah, my wife
Since
just
the
said
beginning.
every family that lived in this house extended it. I mean, you got
Except
12
us.
generations
Except
living here,
us.
except us. We just
Well, we
made-
wish the 13th generation every happiness.
Right.
we
Enjoy,
appreciate it.
enjoy the fiberglass.
I would love to see your doors. I actually voted for a wooden door, but I would
Well,
love to see the new doors.
I would love to have wooden doors. But the practicality of getting somebody to do it is immense.
Mm,
Because if you're going to keep the frame the way it currently is, the doors are not standard and they have to get built.
Never mind.
It's involved.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you all. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, can we adjourn now?
Yes, well, I need a motion.
I can't.
You can't.
I move we adjourn the meeting, the HDC meeting of November 2nd.
All right,
Second.
and everyone, yeah, just raise your hands.
These votes do count for adjournment, though.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
Good night.
Yes, and
Night.
Paul,
Good night, everyone.
I have
Good
one
luck,
question
Ann.
though.
Oh.
I have one question. Paul, do you are you done in January or do you have one more meeting in January?
No, I'm done in December, as I understand it. Isn't it calendar year?
Oh,
That's
yes,
my-
yes. Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm
I
done.
don't know when it actually ends, whether it's
I'm
December.
done December 31, and I'm unavailable. I won't be around on November 16th, so I'm going to miss the next meeting anyway.
And what
Well-
about the meeting after that? There's still another
Yeah,
meeting in
I'll-
December,
I'll-
is there not?
I'll be attending in the December meeting.
All right, well, then I would like to suggest that we make that our first non-Zoom meeting and as,
That's
you
a cold
the
month.
only-
You don't want to go anywhere in December.
I
You
know,
wanna be
but we,
home.
otherwise we won't see you again and this is your idea. So I say we go for it.
We'll miss you, Paul. I'm gonna go, everyone. I really have to eat dinner.
Okay,
All right. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
problem.
Thank you.
see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.